Does it say cock-a-doodle-doo? It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Listen.
We know that the babies that have been read to have a real distinct advantage in processing language as they're getting older and older.
Babies are born and their brains are not nearly as complex as a 2 or 3-year-old. And the more kids are read to in those first 2 years, they build more neuron connections and their brains look so much more advanced if they're read to.
About 1998, I went down to Harvard for a one-day program called the Harvard Children's Initiative, and they brought together all the deans of the schools, and they talked about children. And as I drove back to Portland, it occurred to me that a lot of kids in Maine ought to be reading at a much earlier age than they might be.
If we want to improve the health of the people that live in the state of Maine, then literacy is a key component to that. And, you know, Owen and the Libra Foundation, you know, they concluded a long time ago that that started with birth.
This would be a very good way of bringing the various hospitals together to form an alliance, basically, led by Maine Medical Center and also Eastern Maine Medical Center to develop reading at a very, very early age.
If we make that connection from the very first moment that the child is in the world, that sets a tone for the relationship that we're able to build.
When Charlotte was born, picking up all the stuff to leave the hospital, and there was this bag of books, and for a moment I thought someone had brought us books. And a parent or a grandparent or something, and then I realized they were from Raising Readers.
Look and see who's in here.
A chicken.
You think it's a chicken? Let's open it up.
You go to your well child visit, your annual well child visit. The provider presents you with your annual Raising Reader book, which is really special.
I'll usually give the patient the book almost regardless of age. So if I hand it to a 6-month-old, I'm looking to see, you know, does that 6-month-old reach out and take the book? Does he show an interest in the book? I'm using the book as kind of a tool in the visit.
I would go into the doctor's, the office place where I get stuff checked and stuff, and I would have a shot, and then I would get a book.
And I'm hoping at some level that they're remembering the book and maybe not the vaccines they're going to get, which are equally important, but maybe not the most memorable gift for the child.
I think if the doctor says, now really, this is important, read to your child. It's important for you, it's important for the child. I think that makes an impression.
There's probably nobody that a family trusts more than their care provider. It can come through a family practice, it can come through even a home visitor, but the idea is that there's somebody that they trust and believe in, and they're sending the message that reading to your child is an important part of helping your child to be a full person.
I mean, you know, I think about what we do in pediatrics, there's immunizations, and then I think this program is right there behind it, is one of the most important things we do.
Baby, you so tired.
Is that the mama or the daddy, do you think?
Mama.
The back and forth between a parent and a child is the greatest teacher. And so books are a great way, one of the great ways to do that.
Focusing on the actual process of that interaction and that bond that happens when a parent and a child reads, and not telling people how to do it, but really offering people the opportunity to simply do it. So it's really the simplicity, I think, that is astounding to see the power that brings to this program.
When Owen first had this idea, he was adamant that it had to be for everybody.
The idea is that every child will have an advantage if they have opportunity to interact with text from the beginning.
They have ended up with 12 books. Lots of families never have a book in the family, in the household. So that's exciting.
No one's left out. No one's forgotten about, and they all get the same shot.
It got dirty when I was playing outside. I said, I'm sorry.
Saturday morning, when his father said, Family Fun Day, reading teaches me new words, and I love to look at pictures and
When we eat vegetables, it's good for us, and then when we read books, it's good for our brains. So it's like vegetables for our brain.
For me, reading's important because it's really the direct path to how I see the world and where I get my knowledge and understanding of different issues.
It's the one program that we have undertaken as a foundation that we get complimented on all the time. We get letters from children and from parents telling us what a big difference it's made in their lives.
15 years of contributions that has really sustained the program, been the foundation of the program. I think it demonstrates their commitment.
Our state is a state that reads to its children, and that's largely due to this initiative that Libra has very graciously committed to for 15 years.
2+ million books later and 215,000 kids later, that's what's been delivered in terms of value.
And to continuously, year after year, show that value and that importance of that parent-child connection through reading is just priceless.
Books, they open up a whole new world. I really want to thank them for that.
I want them to know how special it is for us, and again for us, but for every kid out there.
I am deeply grateful to the Libra Foundation for their commitment to this particular project. I'm grateful for the project, but I'm more grateful that they have an investment in the children and families of Maine.
And the Libra Foundation has been wonderful to help do this. It's just awesome.